Sri Guru Charitra, Chapter 40. Dead wood grows into a tree by Guru's grace. This chapter describes the miracle of fresh leaves sprouting out of a piece of dead wood and the cure of leprosy of a Brahmin by name Narahari by the grace of Gurunath. Gurunath gives the illustration of the forest couple and narrates how their steadfast faith was rewarded. Siddha Muni continued his narrative to Namdharak. Gurunath was a reliever of all ills. He was Bhagwan Dhanvantri himself. There lived a Brahmin named Narahari Sarma who was suffering from leprosy. He came to Sri Narasimha Saraswati to pray to him to be relieved of the dreadful disease. He related to him how the disease had made him a virtual outcast and what misery it had brought on him. He said he was disgusted with life and had decided to end his life. But hoping that Gurunath might save him, he had come to visit him. Gurunath was like a mother to all. The Brahmin's plight moved him with pity. Sri Narasimha Saraswati told the Brahmin that he had committed many sins in his former lives and his ailment in this life was a result of those past sins. However, he said he would be relieved of the disease and should follow his, that is Gurunath's, instructions. At this juncture, a man came over there carrying an audambar branches which was almost dead and dry. The branches had been cut about 5 years ago. Gurunath took that wood from the man and gave it to the Brahmin. He told the Brahmin to go to the Bhima Amaraja Sangam and plant it on the bank there. He should then take a bath and offer worship to it. He should have a second dip in the water, fill his tumbler with water, and water the planted audambar wood. He should water it thrice every day. The wood would sprout and put forth fresh leaves in the course of time. No sooner than the wood put forth leaves, he would be rid of his disease and would become completely well. The Brahmin started on as per the above instructions with implicit devotion and faith in Gurunath's words. Some of the people told Gurunath about the great faith with which the Brahmin had been watering the dead wood. It was over a month since the Brahmin had planted the wood and had started watering every day. They said that the people were making fun of the Brahmin, calling him mad and absolutely foolish to be watering a dead wood, believing it would grow and put forth leaves. The Brahmin had become a butt of ridicule in the town. Listening to them, Gurunath told them that there was nothing that faith could not achieve. He narrated the story of the forest man Sabari, which had been narrated by Sutta Muni to the rishis to illustrate the power of faith. Once upon a time, there was a king named Simhaketu who was a ruler of Panchal Nagar. He had a son named Dhananjaya. Once a prince went to the forest for hunting. He had one of the forestmen, Sabari, as his guard during the hunt. The prince was very tired and stopped for rest at a place. Meanwhile, the forest man wandering around sighted an attractive stone. He picked it up and brought it and showed it to the prince. The prince told him that it was a Shivalinga and explained to him about Shivalinga Mahima. He advised the Sabari that since he, the Sabari, had found it, he should take it home and start worshipping it. He also told him how to do the worship. Bilwa leaves are dear to Shiva. You should therefore worship it with bilwa leaves and flowers. Incense is to be burnt, oil lamp lighted, and chitta bhasma, ashes, to be offered to the Shivalinga, as chitta bhasma is most dear to the Lord. The Sabari took the prince's instructions as Guru Upadesha and he and his wife started following it with great faith. One day they could not find chitta bhasma for their worship. The Sabari told his wife that they could not let the Shivalinga go without chitta bhasma as he would burn his body and she could make the offering of that chitta bhasma to the Lord and complete the worship. His wife, however, offered to burn herself instead. Sabari said that she was too young and had hardly seen life, and as such she should not end her life when he was there. But his wife was not convinced and said that life was anyway like a bubble and age should be of no real consideration. If the chitta bhasma of her body could serve as an offering to the Lord, what greater opportunity could ever be there for this human birth? Seeing her determination and as the time for the worship was passing away, Sabari had to consent and let her burn herself. He went into the hut and he set fire to it from outside. He took the chitta bhasma in his hands and was preparing to do the offering. As per his habit, obsessed with the worship and offering and forgetting for the moment that his wife was no more, he called out to his wife by name, asking her to join him in making the Chitta Bhasma offering. Shiva was very much moved with the devotion, the spirit of sacrifice, and their matchless faith in him. He gave back the woman her life. So, in answer to the call of her husband, who had called her forgetfully, she rushed out to join him in the offering. The only thing she remembered was that when the hut was set on fire, she felt overwhelmed by sleep and was not aware of anything. She heard the call of her husband, which to say woke her up from her sleep, and she rushed to him. Lord Shiva appeared before them and blessed them. Gurunath very much appreciated the Brahmin's faith in his Gurunath's words and the implicit manner in which he was following them. Thereafter, Sri Narasimha Saraswati set out towards Sangam for his daily routine and rituals. On the way, the Brahmin saw him and offered his obeisance to him. Gurunath sprinkled water from his kamandalu on the Audambar wood, which the Brahmin was watering daily. No sooner had Gurunath sprinkled water than new leaves sprouted out from the wood, and the dead wood changed into a live, healthy, growing tree. The Brahmin's body too became clean and rid of the disease. The Brahmin fell at the feet of Gurunath, pouring out his gratitude and singing praises of him. O Lord, my beloved Gurunath, how much you love your devotees. Seated under the Ashwatha tree, you are only waiting to welcome your bhaktas and to shower your blessings on them. You so readily grant them all the boons and give them all happiness. Your effulgence and lustre outshine the light of crores of moons. Thou, the son of Atri and Anasuya, and who named you as Datta, how beautiful you are, how charming you look with the garlands hanging down on your body. Just as Ankush alone can control and tame the wild elephants, so also devotion to your feet and your grace alone can control the wayward minds of men being chased wildly by the Shadripus, the 6 inner enemies. I bow down to you, my beloved Gurunath, O the master of the 5 elements, O Sri Vallabhesh Nayak, O the lotus-eyed, thy lotus feet are my sole refuge. Pray, never forsake me. The Brahmin offered elaborate worship to Gurunath. He performed Samaradhana. Sri Gurunath was very much pleased with the Brahmin's intense devotion. He named him Yogesh. He taught him the Vidya Saraswati mantra. He asked the Brahmin to go to his house and to bring his wife and children to live at Gangapur. The Brahmin did accordingly and thereafter constantly stayed with Gurunath, serving him most devotedly. Thus ends the 40th chapter of Sri Guru Charitra. Glory to the all-merciful, the omnipresent, and the ever-responsive Gurunath.